Hello world, Joshin Master here again, coming in with another component of Thoughtful Corner. So, what's important to note is that this is going to shock you, and this is going to surprise you, but there are biological differences between men and women. It is nature. Um, this whole aspect of trying to teach young men to become effeminate and gender neutral is complete and total garbage. Men were biologically designed to be able to be protectors, providers, and that's just ingrained in our DNA. And society is trying to turn men into these neutered, weak-willed weenie boys, and they don't know how to function. They do not know how to function around women. And so what happens is that it's now become indoctrinated in high school, in elementary schools. Young men and young women are being brainwashed into showing that there's no biological differences between men and women, which is complete and total bullshit. Every single species on Earth has a male and female. It is not only a component in the natural world, but also in the spiritual world too. You have yin and yang. You have the feminine and the masculine and the feminine. So what does that mean? What that means is that there can be women who do have masculine traits. They can be aggressive. There are men who can have feminine traits. They could be gentle and caring. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're not men. It just means that there is a balance to that where men see kids, they see children, and they help rear the children too, hopefully being in part with the family and being included in the family, not being isolated away from their kids. They can be gentle and caring and nurturing too. But that doesn't take away from the fact that they're still men. And that's why boys roughhouse. That's why it's just part of who they are. And when you don't allow them to do that, you are suppressing their natural tendencies. And that violates nature. Let me tell you something. Every time we try to create this artifice environment with political, socio components that affect the personality and psychology, or artificial psychology, or it's referred to as the super response, and conference to how this affects the environment and external internal circumstances of the organism, it's going to rebel, or it's going to create a situation where nature's going to win. So we have to stop trying to create these pseudo-artificial psychological terminologies, binary, non-binary. It's all fucking bullshit. They are self-imposed, created terms to try to create an artificial movement. And when artificial movements start to happen, it causes collapse. Social, physical, psychological, and mental collapse. And that is what is happening with this current generation of young people. Not all of them, but more than half. And they're lost. They're confused. They have no guidance. We have access to all this wonderful information and all these incredible components. But the one thing that we're lacking is common sense and the ability to discern what is useful and what is not. We've become essentially data gathering whores. So we're collecting all of this information and all of this knowledge base, but where's the application? How do you apply it? Do you know how to apply it? And the answer is that half the people don't know how to apply it. They'll read about something, they'll talk about it, they'll intellectualize it, they'll create some kind of pseudo browbeating of intellectualism and try to create an artifice personality to try to portray themselves, because we all do, to try to fit in with others. It's a biological tendency that has now taken prevalence and a grip hold into modern man and womankind and humanity in general. And that artifice creates a mask, a masquerade. It's almost like you're going to a masquerade ball. But when you reveal the true self, it can be a very frightening experience. Because you're facing who you really are. You're facing your faults, your weaknesses, and your difficulties. It's not a bad thing. That means that you're trying to remove this self-created illusion of what society portrays you to be and who and what you're meant to be. They're two different things. And the women's feminine movement, hence femininity, feminist, get the whole point. The term feminine means to be woman or ladylike. Doesn't mean to go out there and start yelling and shouting at people and to act like a complete and total fucking asshole or bitch. That's not what that is. I've seen a lot of women who do not understand what the feminist movement was about. Okay? Susan B. Anthony was the very first woman who decided, hey, tired of being treated like garbage. And so she took a stand. That was the suppression of the yin, the suppression of the feminine energy. And what that did was it boiled up, and then it rebelled. And now there is, rightly so, the appropriate components of women's rights. So, women are human beings. They're not property. They're not possessions. However, they've gone overboard. And now they've utilized their rights to castrate men and put them in and demonize them, especially white Caucasian males, and put them into a box and try to neuter them. Let me tell you something. 60, 70 years ago was 60, 70 years ago. The current men now, the current generation now, even the current generation, 2 or 3 generations ago, did not suppress women. So all this women's ad-lib, feminist bullshit that's been going on, these men are not suppressing you. You need to wake the fuck up. You need to pull the stick out of your ass. You need to take the blindfolders off your eyes. You need to get off of social media, and you need to sit down and think, well, when was the last time a white guy came over and slapped me across the face and tried to throw me into the kitchen? This isn't the 1950s. This is 21st century. Wake the fuck up, people. You need to stop blaming and demonizing people. The us against them mentality needs to stop. Okay? There's not an us against them. We're all part of the human fucking race. And you need to grow a fucking brain and wake the fuck up. Yeah, I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs. Because when I was talking with a couple of young men, young women tonight, I could see the nature of how they were communicating with one another, and them being jovial and not being caught up in the political rhetoric, which was nice to see. That even though all of this social dogmatic paradigm is starting to constitute and create an artificial construct, nature's winning. Nature is winning, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, stop going to college and getting a useless degree in gender studies and trying to promote an artificial component of society. Wake the fuck up. Read, study, and develop yourself. Become a useful member of society. Do something to help make a difference in the world. Stop bitching and moaning about, we're being suppressed. No one is suppressing you. You are in one of the greatest countries in the world. You have every opportunity. Why do you think people come to the United States? Why do you think they come from Venezuela? They come from Russia. They come from all these other areas because we are the greatest country in the world. There is no other country like ours. We have freedoms and liberties that no other country has. But those are quickly starting to change. And for those of you who are in the feminist movement, you need to realize that your leaders are communists, socialists, and fascists. And they study Mein Kampf, Lenin, Marxism. They study that shit, and they think it's cool. They think it's some kind of, cool thing to kind of parade around. No, it's not. What you're doing is you're creating a hostile, egalitarian, totalitarian political movement, and you're being used. That's what's happening. And once you realize that no one is forcing you to do anything, you're taking it upon yourself to try to get into these groups, to get into these other social constructs and social cultures and create these subcultures. You're being manipulated into following these people. These people are hurt. They've been through certain difficulties and certain things, and they're trying to find some place where they fit in. And they utilize that, they prey on that, and they use that fear to create a fear-based component of demonizing and deconstructing normal society. Okay? So wake up, pull your head out of your ass, and take a look at what's going on around you, and enlighten yourself. Study Plato, Socrates, Epictetus, Aristotle, Marcus Aurelius, Sun Tzu, Confucius, Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha, Krishna. Read the Upanishads of the Bhagavad of yoga, the Bible. Read something that's going to open up your eyes and show you that there is something grandiose beyond you. Because you are not the most important thing in the universe. You're important, you play a role, and you have an important role to play and a greatness in you, but you can't achieve that greatness if you allow others to dominate you. Anyways, this is Joshin Master. Take your time. Be smart. Don't be stupid. Use wisdom. And question all things. Joshin Master out. Rock on.